Can you tell me your full name and where we are today?
Joanne Varni, and we are in my yoga room in my home in Los Gatos, California.
And Joanne, what healing practice do you work with?
For myself?
Mm-hmm.
So my personal practice consists of yoga. So I have a physical practice that I do mostly here in this room, and then I have a meditation practice. I will bring in different types of meditation depending on if there's a specific thing I'm focusing on. I have different meditations that I use depending on what I feel like I need to fill me up on any given day. And I try to eat clean. Yeah.
How long have you been working with healing practices?
So I started with meditation about 19 years ago. So about 19 years ago, I had a little interruption, and I was pretty active at the time. So the physical practice didn't really resonate with me as much as meditation did. So I actually started meditation about 19 years ago, went to a workshop, and thought I was on to something at that time, yeah. So it took off from there.
So how do we know each other?
We met on a trip to India in 2010, and the trip was the Path to Buddha. So we went to all of the different places where the Buddha visited, and also where he was born, where he was enlightened, where he died. So it was a pretty special, life-changing trip, and I got the opportunity to meet you there. We've been friends ever since.
And what did that, lucky me, what did that trip take you into?
Yeah, I mean, that trip, even before I went on the trip, I knew that I needed to go to India. I heard about this retreat, and I just knew I wasn't really in a place in my life where that made any sense at all. But there was just an inner calling when I heard about it, and I was dreaming about it and told my husband, I don't understand this either, but I need to go on this trip. And that's what kind of got me on the trip. And then what happened once I went on the trip was pretty profound and life-changing. It just allowed me an opportunity to have some space in my life, because at home I had a busy family. I had younger kids, husband, stay-at-home mom, so really kind of hectic and busy, and not a lot of space just to stop and pause and see what it was that I needed to fill me up or needed to do for my own personal growth. So I guess, and I wasn't even aware of this at the time, but there must have been something lacking that my soul was seeking, and that trip called me. So when I first started on my healing path, I was about 34. I had 3 kids under 5. So it was the perfect storm for old traumas to bubble up. And there was a triggering event in my life with someone that I was often triggered by. And I went into a bit of a interruption, as I like to call it. And I went into therapy for the first time and discovered that there were some old wounds that I didn't realize. Well, I didn't realize they were wounds. I didn't really know what it was, but they were, I was diagnosed with PTSD at the time, anxiety disorder. And I had a choice, and the therapist I was working with suggested that I go on medicine. And I don't have a problem. I think sometimes medicine is absolutely necessary and very helpful. But in the situation that I was in with 3 kids under 5, I said, I think I want to try something else. I didn't want to be medicated and be a parent to my kids at that age. So that's when I pursued meditation, and I did feel some relief from it, and I thought there is something here. And even back then at 34, which was a while ago, I knew that there was something I knew that I would someday be on a path to help other people that had similar issues. I knew it. I don't know how I knew it, but I knew it. So it felt very authentic in a very real way.
And meditation was the first step?
Meditation was the first step, because I think I was disconnected from my body. I wasn't really connected to my body, and I was working out, I was lifting weights, I was doing cardio, And I did some yoga classes, but I didn't feel the connection with the physical practice at the time. But there was something about sitting in stillness, as much as you're able to find out with 3 kids under 5, when I had those moments, that felt really grounded and graceful. There was grace there. There was healing there. And it didn't happen all at once, but I knew that there was immense potential. So as life would have it, I would move away from the practice, life would get busy, and then I'd come back to the seated practice and I'd recommit. I'd get a cushion, or I'd carve out a place in my house, or I'd get a CD with guided meditations. But I'd always come back and recommit more stronger than I did before. And it took me a number of years before I had a pretty dedicated practice. But I knew that when I was sitting, I was better for it. So